Welcome to That's No Class. I'm Brian Berumen.
And I'm Morgan Darian.
Welcome back to the home of class, where we talk about the most interesting and funny things happening in the news and in our lives, try to figure out how to live classy, and call out no-class moves.
This week in news, I cover the worst vacation. Brian brings us news updates. We both have written important open letters. And as always, we end with our no-class picks.
Welcome, friends, old and new. Thanks so much for being here with us for another episode of TNC. New episodes up every single Tuesday, always, no matter what. You can count on us to be here for you.
Our listeners on both sides of the fence in the air fryer war, they're happening. One called in saying a response to the argument that the air fryer is just a counter oven.
Whoa.
That their air fryer is quicker than the oven and uses less power.
Okay.
So.
Dang.
TNC listeners, who else is going to weigh in?
Yeah. When will we lay this to rest? Okay. Let's get to some news.
Now here's the news.
Okay, my favorite news babes from AP News came through for me again. And I'm telling this story not to make fun or be morbid, but because I want to give you some instructions. And I thought, hey, maybe our peeps who are listening might want to think about this. Okay. So a daughter and her dad are on vacation in Cuba. He has a heart attack and dies while swimming in the ocean. Terrible vacation.
Ooh.
The opposite, one might say. Then a vehicle can't get there for about 8 hours, so they put him on a beach chair and cover him with a towel and, call it a day. So he's, roasting in the sun for 8 hours.
Okay.
Then his daughter has to pay $10,000 to get his body back to Canada so she can bury him there.
Okay.
Then his body arrives, and it's not him. It's a Russian man who's 20 years younger, tattooed, full head of hair. So this dude ain't her father, okay?
But her father was on the beach.
Yes.
It's just that the body that they shipped to Canada was not the right body.
Not the right guy.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I have multiple things to say about this. Number one, if we ever go on a vacation, for the love of Cristo, if I die, light me on fire and leave me there. Maybe throw me in the ocean or something. I don't care. But do not spend $10,000 getting me home. The earth is my home. If I'm toasted like a burnt little bacon, no way do I want the rest of my family and friends to have to look at that. Call their asses, and whoever wants to fly to see me off, cool.
I would gladly not pay $10,000.
Ridiculous.
It's probably easier to set your body on fire in another country,
Maybe.
I would think. But it's not probably 100% legal no matter where you are. So as much as I'd like to do that.
You can do it legally.
What if I just pushed you out to sea?
I mean, you could do that too.
Okay.
But then they would think you murdered me.
Yeah, they would.
So you just
what
do
do
it
I
legally.
Do? You said, what do you do illegally?
There's places you're like, hey, burn this one.
You need to get a police officer to say, hey.
Yes.
But even then, they're going to suspect me of your death no matter what. It's a long process.
No, whatever. After they determine how I died, then you burn me wherever I am.
Thank you.
Don't fly me back for $10,000. Is my whole point.
I have a legal pathway to dispose of your body. Okay.
You can bring some ashes back for people who can't make it if they're in our inner circle.
Okay.
Okay?
Promise.
Number one, do not spend that money. Number two, now she can't find her dad anywhere. It's a giant mystery. So now instead of getting to grieve and let go, she's panicked and trying to figure out where he went. And he's going to be in even worse shape. If you must bury me because you can't stand the idea of me burning up, then for the love of the gods, please just make a box from wood at Home Depot. I abhor the idea of giving any of my money toward the box I'll be buried in. What a waste. Give those funds to someone who needs it. And if that's you, then go out and have the most luxurious steak dinner you've in the land. I do not need to rest my dead head on a satin pillow. That's why I have silk pillowcases now. Luxuries for the living. Okay? Agreed?
Okay, agreed.
No extra expenditures. The only one I'll agree to is if you want to take a wild trip to grieve in the outdoors and spread my ashes in the coolest spots.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Okay. I mean, this is just in case. You and my sister have both decided you don't want to die last, and that now that's my responsibility somehow, which, by the way, is very rude of you both. So.
We've never really talked thoroughly about what to do when and if you pass before me. So I'm glad that now I know.
Apparently you have a document somewhere.
Yeah, but I do plan on not being, alive.
Thank you for that.
Just to be clear.
So I'm preparing my soul for that because...
You've thought this through.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cool.
Thought a lot of things through.
Okay, so this week for mine, somehow I kept seeing things related to stories that I knew that we talked about on the show before. And we do this every once in a while. We've got some news updates.
Now here's the news.
Updates!
All right, so this first one is an update to one of your stories, friend.
Ooh.
The rat hole has been removed.
What? How? Why?
The city of Chicago, after that story blew up, thanks to you, I think.
Rat hole wedding.
You spread it around the world. Obviously, our
Yeah,
reach is that
it's
big.
obviously me.
Neighbors said that people were there constantly taking pictures, leaving coins, and like making little shrines and making a ton of noise. So the city took out the whole sidewalk. But it's storing that one square with the rat hole in it.
Okay.
So that makes me think that they've got something planned for it. Like there will be some future protected public exhibition of the rat hole.
Okay, I'm down with
Perhaps
this.
outside of a neighborhood that it doesn't bother people.
In a park.
Maybe.
Like a statue in the park, except it'll just be
like
a
a
slab
plaque.
with like the rat hole.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be mounted like vertically.
Amazing.
Like in somewhere. So
Okay, I'm glad they saved it. I was
if,
scared they
as
would
soon as
ruin
they
it.
put it up, I will tell you, and we can go to Chicago and we can go see it ourselves. So
Okay.
we won't miss it.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Okay.
Next story. It's a story that I feel a weird connection to. The Red Lobster endless shrimp debacle. Remember I told you guys they lost millions because people love that shrimp and they ate them out of house and home.
Right.
So much so that the company was reportedly this week considering Chapter 11 bankruptcy, which I learned is the kind where the company gets to reorganize, not like shut down all the restaurants, but they're trying to get rid of their debts because they have a lot of debt and stuff. And so
Crazy.
now I'm seeing that they might be looking for a new buyer for the company to try to bring it back to profitability. But the real question, the only one we really care about with this is, what happened to that endless shrimp deal?
Yeah.
The people couldn't get enough of it. We still haven't tried it, which sucks. But after that story came out about them losing the millions on the deal, which was $20, it was $20 endless shrimp.
Oh.
We told you last time they raised the price to $25.
Yeah.
And they were like, that'll do it, that'll do it. Well, we missed out on it entirely. It is gone.
Done.
They now have something called Shrimp Your Way. You can still pick from a variety of different flavors of shrimp, but it's not endless.
Okay.
And if you want more than 2 shrimps at a time, you got to pay more. It's $27 for 4 servings of shrimp.
So 4 times 8, so 8 pieces of shrimp?
No, sometimes it's like 3 or 4 pieces. It depends on which one that you get. It's still a lot of shrimp, but either way, you used to be able to get all the shrimp you could eat for
also,
$20.
shrimp is like 0 calories pretty much, so I don't know about that deal.
What do you mean?
Just like
Well, it's all
fuel-wise.
It's all it's all fried and sauced.
yeah,
and
that's
like,
true.
It's
You're-
not just reg
you're
shrimp.
right, you're right, you're
so,
right. Okay.
Anyway, their website has also been completely redesigned since I last looked at it. So clearly, the company freaked out and had to
Yeah.
change a bunch of stuff, and it's not working out because they're considering bankruptcy and selling the company. Okay. And so my last story, this isn't news per se, but it definitely backs up our big idea that we had about the angry drunk ID cards. This woman totally went off at LAX because her flight got delayed. So I'm going to play this for you. Just a disclaimer here for our listeners, because TNC is a classy show. There's some strong language here that you don't often hear on our show.
Okay.
Call people to judge right now. Get me up on the next flight. Get me up on the next motherfucking flight. Seriously. And pay for that shit. Pay for that shit. I will call people to judge right now. Call his ass.
So
I will call people to judge.
he is the Secretary of Transportation.
Okay.
He's like the boss man.
Okay.
I guess that's her logic here. So this woman admitted she had been drinking.
Oh. So she ruined it for everyone.
She's losing it at the Delta terminal, slapping the counter. But here's the thing. She's getting crazy at Delta. Turns out she wasn't even at the Delta terminal. She was at the WestJet terminal going crazy. Wasn't even in the right place. When she found out, she tries to like laugh it off. Like, oh, ha, ha, ha. Like, oh, look at this. But this is what we're talking about, people.
Yeah.
This is what we're talking about.
You can't handle it.
This is somebody who got dipped in the sauce and like could not maintain.
No.
Got set off a little bit and went crazy. So
That is too funny.
could have seen it right there, the little dot in the corner, as I was saying,
Yeah.
like, oh man,
Don't serve this
let me see your ID. Oh,
She
gonna
will
refer you
ruin the flying experience for
for
everyone.
everyone.
Amazing.
So,
Amazing.
Anyway, big ideas. They
Yeah.
worked. What's going on with you personally? Any news?
I haven't told you this yet, but I'm pretty sure I might be without a job soon because I'm just going to quit and hope for the best. Unemployment, here I come. The disrespected situations that I'm having to deal with at work are like next level, and I would rather end just walking out peacefully than being dragged out by police because I am arm barred my boss. So I'm sorry in advance if you'll be living with a squatter, but I promise to get a job real soon.
That's a big one to drop on me, like on our show here.
All right, you're welcome.
Okay, well, I
I think it'll be okay.
I appreciate letting. This is tough, man.
Better send up a prayer that the English department awards me for my writing.
Oh, somebody'll hire you, and you'll get your scholarships, and it's all gonna work out.
Yep.
Okay.
So we'll see.
All right.
It's happening.
Good for you for making a
I've given
call.
you fair warning.
You have indeed.
Do you have news?
I do.
Personal?
Okay. I had lunch with the godfather of class,
Ooh.
a.k.a. my dad.
Yes.
He was just in Mexico for a wedding, and he's telling me all about it. And he tells me, friend, to give a shout out. He didn't tell me this, but I'm saying this.
Okay.
Giving a shout out to your Clear the Plate segments. That the service of the people serving the food at the wedding, not up to his standards.
Damn.
You guys may not know this, but Morgan and my dad have a shared career history. He was a waiter at an event space for decades. He basically wore a tuxedo every single day, white shirt, black suit. So he's real particular
Classy. Yeah,
about stuff.
that's classy.
He says one of the guys was drinking a beer who was serving the food.
What?
And he says, I've never heard him say it this way, but he says, I don't like that. And another guy who wasn't clean shaven, he said, he looks like me and you right now. And I didn't realize, like, what do you mean? Like, he's like Mexican? Like, of
Scruffy.
course, you're in Mexico. Like, of course he's Mexican. But he goes, no, just, the beard. And he's like,
Scruffy, yeah.
I don't like that.
I don't like that.
I was going to ask you, like, friend, like, is this, like, what are the rules? Is there, like, appearance?
Well, I think
official
if you're
rules?
serving at a wedding, you should probably shave.
Should look your best, just in general.
I mean, that's rude.
Yeah. Okay.
Showing up drunk.
He wasn't drunk yet. He was just enjoying himself.
Getting there.
Okay. He also told me that he showed my family in Mexico our interview with him on the show.
Oh, no way.
Which he clearly loved doing, which is great because I twisted his arm into doing it. Guys, you should go look this up. It's on our YouTube page. If you're kind of a newer listener and you haven't heard this yet, it's pretty great. He's a fun guy.
Godfather of class.
The Godfather.
Love it.
Taught me everything I know. Okay, when we come back, we've got toilet troubles, and then out with the old and in with the new. Thanks so much for being here. We love having you. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Sometimes an invention is the opposite of helpful. Sometimes an invention should die. And here's Morgan with an open letter to one no-class creation.
I'm sorry in advance for talking of inappropriate things, but this letter must be written too long. Have I suffered silently? Dear automatic self-flushing toilets, you should never have been invented. When I see the little black square screen attached to the toilet wall, this movement judger that will determine my bottom's fate, I cringe as I enter those four walls. Now, instead of the peaceful bathroom experience I so wanted, I know I will now have to do battle. If I hear you begin your flush while I am mid-bathroom experience, I must carefully, but in wildly fast fashion, hop up to avoid the tsunami of water trying to drench my ass. It is unacceptable, and I throw all my hate toward whoever decided this should be a thing. I'm not alone in this. Nick Schultz of Slate wrote an article on why the auto-flushing toilet must die. It's nice to know I'm not the only one being plagued by sewer water touching my bum. One too many times have you caught me unawares, and I quiver in disgust at the memory. Oh, and this is not your only crime. Why should an establishment even supply seat covers if all you're going to do is self-flush at the tiniest movement on me trying to cover said seat? I try to cover the seat, and you flush in my face, spraying tiny droplets on my hands and on the seat cover I just placed down. No one wants to sit down on wet droplets. That's the whole effing point. Because if I give in after the third seat cover attempt, now my brain says, oh, hey, Morgan, you're sitting on someone else's pee. Gross. And then I can't concentrate to relieve myself. Now, automatic self-flushing toilet, you may be thinking, why don't you hover? Lots of women hover, but you would be wrong on a self-flushing toilet because if I hover, you're even more likely to go off. And also, sometimes hovering doesn't work out so good and then pee is dripping toward your knee for no effing reason. How about instead of suggesting I hover, you just fix your damn self, or better yet, just unexist. Get lost, you bozo, you clown, you no good piece of trash. We don't want you. Never yours, Morgan Darien.
I never knew you were having such struggles with this.
It is
You never tell me about it.
one of my deepest rages. I won't go into like too much terrible detail, but
I mean, I would like to hear some
if the
terrible
water,
detail, to be
if
honest
the water
with you.
hits upward,
So it goes off while you're sitting on it?
yes,
Really?
all the time, multiple times sometimes.
Really?
So I'm like up and down and up and down.
I wonder why.
Because the motion sensor is stupid and doesn't work the way it's supposed to work. Whoever invents and I know there's a motion sensor that is like behind you, but also sometimes it's under the toilet seat or something like it, like the pressure or something. Like if you actually have the pressure lift off the toilet seat, I think there's two different kinds. That's what my
Okay.
conclusion has come to.
You haven't looked up whether
I have
this
not
is
looked
true.
this up,
is your
but
theory.
I am pretty
Okay.
sure there's two different kinds. And when I see that black square, I want to frickin'
Yeah.
scream.
Yeah. I mean, the black square and the missing handle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a button
Yeah.
you can push
Yeah.
if you need to.
Dang, I didn't know. Dude wrote an article about this.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
It is heinous and it is annoying. Why did you invent this? It doesn't work.
Yeah. A lot of things. The automatic sync things barely work ever either. The worst.
Yeah, true.
Don't we have better tech by now?
You would think.
Solid.
That's my list, my
Solid.
letter.
You articulated it well, and we're all glad for having heard it. Okay, when we come back, saying goodbye to an old friend. And then, of course, we've got your no class picks. Stay with us.
Hello again. This week, Brian got a new phone. For most people, that wouldn't be a big deal, but Brian has had the same phone almost as long as we've been together, close to 7 years. He's saying goodbye to his old phone here now with another open letter.
Dear iPhone 5C, I can't believe we're finally here, saying goodbye. And it's surprising for a couple of reasons, mainly because I thought there was no way I would ever be able to say goodbye to you. I thought we'd part after you'd broken and gone to the technology afterlife, when you'd finally stop responding to the taps on your screen, or freeze so long there was nothing else I could do, or just keep restarting over and over. We went through all of these things in the last couple years, but you always came back, raging against the dying of the light. And I wondered how long Apple was gonna let you live. You know those bastards would love it if we all got a new phone twice a year, spending thousands on devices that probably cost less than $100 to build. And somehow, I feel like me and you have kind of been on the run all this time, getting away with something the most valuable company in the world had a strong interest in preventing: long-term hardware use. I brought you home in September of 2017. There were already newer phones. There were already newer phones then, but I knew that, like... This is so stupid. This is the dumbest thing. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
I'm wrapped.
Okay,
I am.
okay.
I'm intrigued.
There were already newer phones then, but I knew that, like with cars, the last years of an older product are the best because the bugs and the kinks have been worked out, and you ran like a dream. You were my first iPhone. I'd seen them from the beginning, but I never really liked their look and their style until the 5 came along, and I knew that I'd go for that one when the time finally came. No regrets. Even when Tim Cook took over and chartered a new course with Apple, with gargantuan monstrosities becoming the new norm, I never wavered. Even when the 20-somethings I went to college with would see my phone and look at me with genuine pity, I didn't care. Because guess what, young people? We've all had the same software all this time. That's the crazy thing about iOS. It's the same across all devices. There was nothing that you couldn't do, iPhone 5C, even after everyone else had turned their back on you. You were with me during my final years of college, my internship at NPR. Good God, you've been with me for more than a third of Lily's entire life. Multiple graduations, family trips, milestones and memories, practically my entire relationship with Morgan, the entirety of my career in journalism. And I'd be happy if we could have stayed together forever. But then Apple finally did it. They started the clock until the end. It started a few weeks ago with the latest iOS update. We didn't get it. Indecipherable emojis from friends and family started coming through. What were they trying to tell me? I saw a head of a bird and then fire. What did it mean? And I realized then that I was now on the other side of a mirror from the rest of the world. Through no fault of your own, you just couldn't see all that the world had to offer us anymore. And so it's time to say goodbye while you're still strong, before all the memories I've saved inside you are lost. I will miss you. I'll miss how comfortably you fit in my hand, the light and reassuring weight of you in my pocket, but your memory will live on. I will give what we've made together, our notes and photos and apps, I will give them all to my new phone. And you will live on in the way that we as humans live on in the thoughts and memories of our own children. You were my first iPhone, but all that come after will know you. Your spirit will live on. Goodbye, old friend. Brian.
Okay. So you've been using your new phone for a week?
Yeah.
How are your giant thumbs doing? Better?
No, I will tell you. We thought that I am so bad at touchscreens.
God.
Texting 5 drafts minimum, no matter what the text is. And it's exactly the same with the new phone. I got more space. It's exactly the frickin' same.
All right.
Exactly the same.
Maybe your thumbs will get used to it and it'll be better.
I don't think so. But I will say I now have the iPhone 12.
Okay.
So I've skipped 7 generations. It's
You
still
did
not
good.
the newest phone.
No, not
but
close. Not even close.
Not even close.
Well, that's
but
great.
it's pretty great. And I will say
I'm happy for
it's
you.
like everything that the phone that I had was, but it's just like more refined and better and slicker, and it's great.
I mean, yours was very slow.
Extremely slow and old. But
Yeah.
it was perfect for me, man.
It had a built-in filter when you took selfies.
Yeah, a haze. The haze filter.
The haze filter.
So anyway.
Oh, nice. Well, goodbye, iPhone 5.
Goodbye.
See?
It's staying in the house. We're going to bury it in the house.
Okay.
It will stay with us.
It'll just stay with us forever, probably.
Yeah.
Knowing you.
All right. When we come back, it's that time. Your No Class Picks of the Week. Stay with us. It's time to wind down the show here, bring it to a close the only proper way with our No Class Picks of the Week.
You're just a jealous,
No class.
lazy bum.
No class pick. I wanted to have a class pick this week because I went so negative in my letter, but we're just going to have to hope for a class move next week because the no class moves just keep rolling on in. I'm just the messenger, okay?
Yeah.
So we might be selling our place, and I thought, hey, I'll work with a realtor that my parents have used. He seems cool, and he's pretty nice. So I'm like, great. We haven't signed any agreement to work with him yet because I have to iron out some other details basically this week. So the first meeting, he was kind of like dad vibes, and I was like, cool, I guess I'm okay with that, even though I'm in my mid-30s and this isn't my first sale of a home, but maybe I'll just chalk it up to it being part of his charm. Fine, whatever. I ignore the little voice in my head that wants to narrow her eyes and scrunch her nose and tilt her head and squish her chin into her neck and be like, I'm an adult bitch, but I move on. I email him a list, recapping the things we talked about during our first meeting to make sure I'm on the right track and didn't forget anything. He just says, sounds good. Okay, fine. Then he calls on a later date to give me advice on something that is a nice move, but also brings with it a bunch of confusion because it's not his area of expertise. And it turns out he's wrong about it anyway, but whatever, fine. He's forgiven because he was just trying to be helpful. Here's my grievance and the no class pick. You're my realtor. I'm an adult and I'm hiring you for a job. You're not my dad. You're not my boss. If I email you about dates, you better come back with options for me. I'm not working for you. Okay, I get in contact with another realtor through a friend, and he sent me an example of how she communicates. And oh, hey, guess what? She's the one making the lists and driving the schedule, not the owner of the property. She's the one confirming the list of fixes and the dates her photographer can get in. So why am I going with her? Because she's doing all the things that I'd be doing if I were a realtor. She's doing all the things I've already done for my potential realtor. It is completely no class to treat someone like they don't know what they're doing and to not respond to your client's wishes. You don't want this sale? You've made it easy for me. I'll give the sale to someone else. Should have signed paperwork, dog. He's out.
You've been stewing on this one for a couple of days now.
It's one of those like small things that like it could be easily like just kind of fluffed away as like, oh, that's maybe in your head, or that's just like, who cares? But like, it's annoying.
Yeah.
And it's not in my head.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have responded the same way if he was dealing with my dad.
You're probably right. You're probably 100%
and I just think it's
right.
rude.
Yeah. Treating you different.
Yes. And so, yeah, I'm going to give the sale to someone else who doesn't treat me like that.
All right. You're
Why
the boss.
would I give? I mean, it's a chunk of money.
They're working for you.
Why would I just like give him that money?
Yeah.
And I'm doing all the work.
Why?
No.
Why?
No.
Valid.
Done.
Okay.
How about you? What do you got?
This week, I have a class pick.
Love it.
And I wish I had my sunglasses right now, but hopefully with the magic of technology, we can make that happen on the video right now.
Okay.
So my class pick this week is actually you, friend.
What?
Yes, never happened before. But
I am astounded.
You did something that I see you do all the time, and it just hit me. And I was like, oh my God. Okay, I'll fill you guys in.
Okay.
Morgan does this thing, and it's really simple, but I think it's really classy. We get 1 million packages delivered from Amazon. Basically, like multiple packages every single day. Okay. And what the delivery people do is they drop the box in our doormat and they ring the doorbell. Morgan runs to the door, ignoring my like safety concerns, like always check. She doesn't. This is the one time she doesn't check. She just like goes, opens the door, grabs the box, and before she can even turn around to come back in, she says, "Thank you." It can be up to a minute after they've rung the doorbell, and she'll still do it. And there are times that I'm thinking, there's no way they can hear her. They're so long gone. But I tell you, almost every time I hear their voice come back and say, "You're welcome," they always hear it. And even if they don't, Morgan says it anyway. It's really nice and it's really classy. And I salute you, friend.
Thanks.
You are a classy lady.
That's so funny. Well, our hallway's long, so I know they're probably still walking.
You're right. It's true. It's nothing but hallways. It all echoes. So I'm sure they probably do hear you no matter where they are.
I don't want them to hear the door opening and being like, oh, they didn't want to see me.
Which is what, I mean, it's what most people do.
Yeah.
And most people don't say anything. They
Sure.
probably never expect to thank you. So it's nice. It's nice to be appreciated by anyone
Thanks.
who's doing service.
That's really
It's very cool. Very classy.
Thanks, Red.
All right, guys. That is our show. Thanks so much for being here and hanging with us. Like and or subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. We're on all the apps. Episodes also on YouTube. Reach out to us on Instagram at That's No Class. You can also send us an email or a voicemail. That's noclass@gmail.com. Call 877-7-NO-CLASS, or as Morgan likes to say,
877-766-2527.
Call us up. We love having your stories on the show.
Stay classy.
Stay classy and have a great week.